Sestra-Tainment.
I'm Lenora.
And I'm Dee.
And we're coming to you today in regards to
Everything Entertainment. Okay, all right.
Yeah, sorry. I just
I love that.
extra
I love
today.
that. That was beautiful. That was beautiful.
So, sis, you are up first this week. What do you have?
So, I have Monsters, the Menendez story.
Oh, yeah. Monsters.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Are they monsters?
I guess we'll find out from your commentary.
Also from that, but then also I've heard that they got something coming up in November.
Oh.
Like a pre-trial or something to see if they can...
A pre-trial? I mean, like another trial?
Yeah.
Oh.
Because of the evidence that's been
coming out
but that's like out, but it was never put in the original... the two original trials.
Mm-hmm. Okay, interesting.
So yeah, so I mean, yeah, and a lot of people are like, they killed their parents. I mean, maybe it was for a reason. So yes, okay. So the Monsters, the Menendez story. So it goes basically, if you don't know, you have Eric and Lyle Menendez. They were two young gentlemen. I think they were 18 and 20. I think they were 18 and 20, yeah. Okay. And they ended up killing both their mother and their father inside of their home. Tried to cover it up, tried to say somebody came in, murdered them, tried to say it might have been the mafia or whatever, tried to get away with it. Didn't work. Yeah. So, basically, it just goes from how it was set up to how it was portrayed. Okay. So, you have... Julian, who gives the detail of, Julan.
Okay.
Now she is the mistress of the psychiatrist that Eric had actually spoken to, and got all the information now, and they're out about them murdering their parents. Gotcha. So basically, it was tearing Eric up. He didn't know what to do. He had a therapist because he used to get in a lot of trouble. Mm-hmm. And his therapist, he went to him, was like, "Can I talk to you?" They went for a walk, and he said, "Yeah, so I killed my parents," and blah, 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 blah. And the dude's like, okay. But so he tries to set it up to where Julan will come, sit outside, and be able to hear everything that's being said about the murder. Okay. So then that way he does have a witness. Because originally they don't want anything recorded. Nothing recorded of what happened. Yeah. Like you were supposed to be about the Hippocratic oath. You can't say nothing, nobody.
Anybody, right.
So she would just be listening in, so he's not technically saying anything.
Right.
But then also he was not the best doctor, and they go into that on the show as well. Mm. So, but then they pull her on the stand later on, she talks about how she was sexually assaulted and was held captive at the Dr. Oziel's house and all stuff. She was trying to do her own thing opposed to just explaining what happened between the brothers and doctor. So yeah, she goes into a whole nother thing. So
and all of this is in the show?
All of this is in the show.
Okay.
All of this. But so how it breaks it down is basically the murder and then goes backwards.
Okay. So you see the murder.
So you see the murder and everything.
It's like the explanation that backs it up.
Yeah. So the explanation part it's a little tricky because it's like, all right, is this off of what actually happened or is it fictional? They have to put that, this is like a dramatization of blah, 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 blah. But a lot of traumatic things happen to them.
And that's the thing with everything that Ryan Murphy does is that it's like...
He makes it more sellable to the audience than it is
than the possible reality.
Exactly.
Right?
So now Eric and Lyle have said that they were sexually assaulted by their father. Mm-hmm. And then Eric also said by his mother as well. So that was one of the reasons why they had to take their parents' life. Mm-hmm. They also said my mother was just going to do whatever my father said. My father was just raping us, so therefore we put her out of her misery. Mm-hmm. But it's also like out of her misery, but then also like
out of their own,
out of their whole life. Now there was some things that were going back and forth about, did the mother know that the father was doing this, and then what did she do about it? So there is that part that's in there that you don't know if it's true or not, but it sounds like it is. Just putting that out there. So they went through a lot of mental and physical abuse, a lot of sexual abuse. Eric was actually raped and sodomized from the age of 6 until how many months did they say? Just a few months before the murders.
Oh, he was the youngest one?
Yes, he was the youngest one. Now, it does go a part in there into the show where Lyle finds out, and Lyle gets pissed off at his father.
Yeah.
And when he goes off at his father, then the father's like, okay, so now I see whose side you've taken. I see I see that y'all against us. So then therefore you get nothing. You have no money. You get, and then that freaks them out, because what if they've been handed everything their entire lives? They don't even know how to work. So that was a whole thing with that. But it's just like how they just snapped and had premeditated their parents' murder is the main reason why they got life. But I mean, I feel like for them, this has been premeditated since they were children.
Right. Like how
Yeah, how long is this premeditated? It's just, now we're of age that we can go out and buy these shotguns.
Right, we can do it.
Yeah.
How long have they been even thinking about
Yeah,
wanting to do it and just suffering
exactly
in the process. If all of this is true.
Yeah, if all this is true.
That's the flip side.
That's the whole flip side of it.
Parents aren't here to tell their story.
But
okay,
there is another documentary that is out.
Oh,
there's one. There's two documentaries that are out. There's one that's called, the Menendez brothers or something like that. That's a documentary. It's just recorded stuff about Eric and Lyle and what they're saying, and then it's like pictures of the trial and stuff like that, and different people. So it's like the prosecutor was speaking. The prosecutor was it the prosecutor? The prosecutor was speaking, and then they have her. So they show her back then in, like, was it 1990 something?
Okay.
They show her back then, and then they show her again talking about how much she hated, what's her name, Letourneau?
Oh, yeah.
How she hated her. She was like, the other lady, she was all right, but she wasn't a strong, she wasn't a come after you, yeah.
I mean,
As, it's not.
Defendant.
Yeah, exactly. So it was a lot of that with them talking about that, but there's a second documentary.
Okay.
About Menudo. Yes, because what happened with the father was he was the top of RCA.
Yeah.
So he gets into the music business, and they talk about that in the show, how he's getting into the music business and say we're going to bring Menudo in and blah 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 blah. But some of the guys from Menudo in the documentary are talking about how he forced himself on them.
Wow.
Yeah.
Has anybody from Menudo spoken out? I know. I feel like
just
in
the
the
one.
past,
I think
one had spoken about.
But I think that might be
their
the
experience in talking to Kyle and Eric. Okay. Right. I feel like somebody spoke out and said something. I feel like I remember hearing that, and that was helpful to Kyle and Eric. Maybe even getting to the point of getting something new going on here, because before it was like, oh yeah, sure, blame it on your parents who aren't here to defend themselves, and then somebody chimed in and said, wait, hold up. It did happen to me. Yeah. So maybe it could have happened to them kind of scenario. So maybe that's something that helped them. I'm not sure.
Yeah. If this is very much a triggering show to watch. So therefore, if this is going to be something that will upset you, do not watch it. If you want to, the Cliff Notes version, go on YouTube and just be like, give me the review. So then that way you don't have to physically go through and see all the things that did happen and the things that they're talking about in such detail. Right. Also with the documentaries, don't watch those either.
Yes. Well, they'll probably be even in more detail.
Yes, exactly. So it's just going off about that. It talks about did not know. I had very surprising scene.
Oh, okay.
About Lyle that when you see it, you're gonna be like, huh. I never knew that. Look at that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I remember that one. I might have even asked you about that one. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was just like, wow. Well, all right. And then it was like, well, my father made me do it and blah, 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 blah. So it's like, God. Yeah, it's horrible. But just to talk about who the cast are that are playing each person. So you have Cooper Koch, Koch, Koch. He plays Eric Menendez. You have Javier Bardem, I'm sorry, who plays Jose Menendez, the father.
And it's funny, when I saw him, I was like, gosh, that looks like Javier.
Yeah, but he's done something to his face.
Yeah, he's done something because I was like,
it's always like right in the eyebrows and the nose is where they get that filler and the filler in their cheeks.
Yeah, I just didn't know, did he do something to himself to make himself look more like their father, or was this how Javier...
It's Hollywood. He probably just did it because it's Tuesday. It's just Tuesday.
Yeah.
You know what? Let me get a little Botox.
Yeah,
you know,
maybe. I don't know, but okay.
Yeah. You have Chloe Sigvigny.
I don't ask me.
I don't know how to pronounce her name. I'm not good
Chloe.
with the. Yeah, you have Chloe. She plays Kitty, plays the wife, and she's a great actress. She's very good at demanding like certain roles and working them out really well. Another person that you have is Nicholas Alexander Chavez, who plays Lau. Okay. And then you have Ari Grainer, who plays Leslie Abramson. That's who it is. Abramson. I said, who did I say?
I forgot, but anyway.
Letourneau. I said, why did I say Letourneau? Why did I even say that?
You're talking about like...
That was that was the other lady. No, not her. Yeah, there we go. Let's get back to it. Leslie Abramson. Okay. So, but I think that it was really good. Definitely touches a lot of detail. I feel like it's I feel like it definitely helped to let you have a better understanding of how the boys, like if everything that they said on trial was true, how the boys actually lived their lives.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
So,
and could potentially get some sympathy from people to say, look, if they had to go through all of this, and do all of this,
I think they should get a pass. They've already been in prison since like '93.
Has it been that long?
They've been in prison. Yeah, they've been in prison most of their life.
Yeah, it has been a long time.
Yeah,
they got married. One of them did, right?
Well, I think both of them
did. Both of them get married. Yeah. So yeah, okay. Well, there you go.
Yeah, but it did happen. Yeah, years and years and years and years ago. Yeah. But yeah, like I said, you can watch that on Netflix. And that is all that I have.
And I will say just to that, I think that it's going to be tough, even if somehow they are able to get out, because what they don't want to send is the message that, hey, kids, just kill your parents.
Oh, yeah, that's
upset, true. Just kill your parents. You know what I mean? Because then it's like, is everybody going to use the same scapegoat?
Yeah, that's true.
Even though that may not have been the case, your parents might have just told you, no, go to bed with no dinner tonight, you know, and it wasn't even anything
But
major.
You know what it makes me think of? You know how they're doing a lot of these origin stories of villains?
Yeah.
This is what it makes me think of. How did the villain become the villain? How did the murderers?
Penguin.
Like the Penguin, like the Joker.
Yep.
How did they get to where was their breaking point that made them now
become
this? Yeah. Mm-hmm. And you know what's so crazy? Some of the people who were like, hey, I mean, if they get out, I don't have a problem with them living beside me. They had a problem with their parents. They ain't killed nobody else. Yeah. Never killed nobody before in their life. That was a problem with their parents. That's fixed. That's over and done with. I have no problem with that. They can come over to the cookout. Like, they're just like, it's whatever.
You never know. But no.
That's very true. But,
it takes a different type of person to do that. Like, because the other side to this is you were 19 and 20. You could have just left. You know what I mean? Like, run away.
Yeah, but then that
People
was the
run
thing.
away at 12.
They didn't have any money to run away.
I mean,
they didn't have any jobs. They've never everything was always handed to them. So because you're affluent and you have, where are you going to go?
Yeah, and they had their shorts with their sweaters tied around their neck and all that kind of stuff. So.
The V-necks.
I don't know. Yeah. I just feel like
they
did make a choice.
They did make a choice.
Clearly, they did make a choice.
Yeah, because
they could have made other choices. They could have gone to live with an uncle or a friend and family member and told the cops and did a bunch of different things. So there are things that could have happened that did not. But
there was on the documentary that I watched, one of the sisters of, I don't know if it was Kitty or Javier, or I mean Jose, but he was like, she said, yeah, I've seen Jose do some things to the boys before.
Oh, wow.
They're like, so why did you? It was like, because you don't know Jose.
Oh, so Jose was like a terror to everybody.
Oh, he was a terror to everybody, yeah. And then he talks about how he was raised in the show. And the way that he was raised in the show is the same thing that he supposedly, allegedly did to the children. So, yeah, it's definitely some good watching. You know, I will let you know. Yeah. I will let you know the whole soundtrack. Milli Vanilli. The entire soundtrack, because Milli Vanilli was at the peak. Milli Vanilli.
I mean, just Blame It on the Rain and Girl, You Know It's True and You Know I Miss You.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
I mean, they play the songs over and over again. Every time they're in the car, Milli Vanilli's on. They turn on the radio, Milli Vanilli's on. I don't know if maybe Ryan Murphy was like, I have this amount of money for songs. I can get Milli Vanilli's catalog. And then just be like, I can get Milli Vanilli's catalog for cheap, and then just make it to where the music only plays when they're in the car.
And hopefully, I mean, this is totally sidebar, but I wonder if Milli Vanilli, what's his name?
Fab,
I think Fab. But if he would even get paid for it because they didn't quote unquote sing it, so therefore he doesn't even make any money off.
Yeah, I don't think that they have anything.
Can anybody make money off of
the original singers can? Yes, and the man who put them together.
Oh, those folks.
But I don't know if that man is still alive or not. I did watch it. Yeah, I did watch that documentary. Yeah, I think he did pass away, but he was a genius.
He was an evil genius.
He was an evil genius, but there's a lot of those out there.
Yeah, this is true.
Kanye West is one of them. So yeah. But that's all I have. All right, go ahead. What do you have next, sis?
I have the TV series 911 on Fox.
Oh,
and I'm going to talk about Bee-nado.
I love 911, first of all.
Now, let me go.
I talked about 911 in our second episode.
Oh, wow.
I talked about 911. I have it written down on the board. I can see it, yeah.
Well, I am talking about, because over the next few weeks, I'm going to be talking about like some multi-seasons.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like into the seasons.
Absolutely.
Like I got to get back to Only Murders in the Building and different things.
Because
it's further along in the seasons. Yeah. So I gotta get to some other things. So, but 911 is in its 8th season, which I can't believe. Like I feel like I started watching it like the first few episodes. Remember they had that bath salts one where people were eating people's faces, and it was just
they had the baby stuck in the wall in the pipes because the lady put the baby. They had the piece of metal go through Chimney's head, and he was still talking and everything.
Like Phineas Gage.
Yeah, there was a lot.
That is what I learned in my psychology class about Phineas Gage.
But I like the show because of the fact that it's like things that would never happen, but could.
Well, Bee-nado is one of those things that could never happen.
It's never happened, but could. I like that. That's going to be the name of this. But good.
But the interesting thing is that, okay, let me go through the cast. So a few of the cast members you have, of course, the incomparable Angela Bassett. She plays Athena Grant.
Yes.
You have Peter Krause, who plays her husband, Bobby Nash. You have Oliver Stark, who plays Evan Buckley. You have Aisha Hines, who plays Henrietta Wilson. Mm-hmm. You have Kenneth Choi, who plays Howie Hand.
Yeah, he goes by Chim.
Chim? Oh,
yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Chimney, I think, because he got stuck in the chimney or something. I can't remember what it was.
Okay. So those are like your main. Oh, and Jennifer Love Hewitt. You can't forget her. She plays Maddie. Yeah. She's like the person on the phone, which actually started out being the lady from Nashville.
Yeah, the older lady.
Yeah, I can't remember her name now. But anyway, so, okay, there she is. Connie Britton. It started off as Connie Britton. Now it's Jennifer Love Hewitt.
But anyway. it was a whole story about that. She ended up leaving town because her and Buck were falling in love. And she was like, kid, you need to live your life, so I'm out. And she left him heartbroken. But she left him heartbroken, and then who comes in? His sister, who is with Jennifer Love Hewitt. Yes.
Makes sense. Makes sense. All right. So the way the Bee-nado, the 911 8th season first show,
Bee-nado,
is that so this guy's just flying in his plane, just happy-go-lucky, happy guy, and he happens to be happy boy. Guy. So he happens to be talking to an air traffic control person because, of course, you're in a plane, so you have to talk to air traffic control. And so the lady's talking to him and stuff, and he's all of a sudden like, there's something weird up ahead. I'm gonna go. I don't know if he was like thinking
it was coming to him while he's flying.
Towards him while he was flying, like, this is interesting. So as he is flying and continues to fly, what ends up happening is all of a sudden this like brown, it almost looks like a sandstorm or something like that with chunks in it. However, it's bees.
Yeah.
So the bees start ping, 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 hitting into
Ping,
the
ping,
plane.
ping, ping,
Right,
ping.
exactly. It's going into the blades. It's doing all this stuff, and then it's coming inside the cabin of the plane. So, of course, you in the sky are going to have to fight off these bees in order for you to be able to, like, survive.
Yeah,
but then
exactly.
also, you get stung by so many bees,
You're going to
pretty
die.
much gone.
Yeah, you're going to die.
So anyway, that's kind of how it starts. And then lo and behold, there happens to be a jumbo jet
yeah.
that seems to come out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And then the next thing you know, the plane and the jet and all of this stuff happens. And
So
we'll
now
get back
it's
to
a
that
whole,
little
now
bit
it's a whole
later, but
catastrophe.
yeah, it's a catastrophe. Correct. So then you have where, the firehouse, the station, because they're always, around and everything. They get called to, work on a particular, like to come to the catastrophe, basically where the plane might potentially land. So that's one kind of side of a story. There's a lot of stuff that goes on in between that. They have an absolutely horrific chief who is running the station now, and he's mean and he's disrespectful and he's whatever. And so there's an altercation that takes place with that chief. Epic. Let's just say that.
Absolutely.
That was epic. And so then you have where Athena finds out from basically like the FBI that the person who killed her fiance is
years and years
ago is saying, hey, look, just want to let you know, not her current husband, her fiance before that, when she was like 20 years old.
Yeah, she was young.
Like that. She was young. So he was a cop. He ended up dead because somebody, took him out. And so basically the person is going to get some type of immunity, I guess, for being someone to speak to a person who basically is like Epstein, right? He has a little black book of all of these high, powerful names that he, while he was in prison, told his roommate where it was and all of that, and the roommate just happens to be the person who killed Athena's fiance. And so based on that, it's this whole storyline of, does she go and escort this person to the, I guess, wherever he needs to be so that he will be able to testify and also get an early release based on that testimony.
He asked strictly for
her. Because
he said he was only going to do it if it was her.
Yeah, he was like, I'm not even going to do this unless it's her. So then you're like, what's that backstory and what's going on there? Very interesting story there. Just to give you some highlights, he actually is like remorseful. He is remorseful. It sounds like he always was, but he is definitely remorseful. She does decide to carry this this situation out. And in the process of that, realizes that he has a target on his back because of the fact that he knows
all
where the little black book is.
Yeah.
So therefore, if he knows where the book is and highly powerful people don't want anybody to know where the book is, then they're going to try to take him out. So you may ask, how in the world does this translate into Bee-nado?
Yes.
Because like you only have talked about the bees with the plane and then hitting another plane, but in between, something else happens.
Yes.
The bees ended up, you find out how the bees actually came to be the Bee-nado, and that is based on an accident in a big rig that actually happens on some big, busy California highway. And so this big rig has an accident, and when it turns over, guess what? 20 million? It's some crazy, insane number. 20 million bees are let go. And because of this, now we have Bee-nado. So it's the bees that are out here swirling around. There are, because of the fumes and the fire and all of that, it created a literal Bee-nado. And so then they said, we have to get these bees to disperse. And in the process of getting the bees to disperse, the bees end up finding that plane, that ends up finding the other plane, that ends up creating a whole catastrophe. Exactly. So it's like a domino effect based on an accident that was a rig carrying bees.
A truck accident turns into two plane accidents.
Right. And then, by the way, you have another scenario with a young girl who's in the car who needs an EpiPen because guess what? Her and her mom both are allergic to bee stings. Their car is covered in bees.
And you know why their car is covered with bees? The queen is inside.
Oh, was that what it was?
That's why bees would go and hoard around something because they all always trying to work for the queen. They're always trying to get to the queen. So you saw the bees come into the vents of the car. And that's why I'm thinking the queen had to have been inside for all those bees to be surrounded.
Beyonce was in the car, the queen bee.
Look at Beyonce.
Oh my goodness.
Look at this.
But anyway, so then you have that scenario of how do you get them out of the car when it's covered with bees and two people who would need an EpiPen in order to be able to survive.
Yeah.
And can they both survive? So you have that story. Then you have Athena bringing this guy back, and they're just getting chased down left, right, sideways. So she's rushing to get him, guess where? On a plane.
On a plane, yeah.
So that way they can be in the air. And guess which plane is the plane that gets hit by the guy with the bees in his plane?
Yeah.
Is Athena's plane.
Yeah.
And then that causes a whole chain reaction of events that makes
you have a big piece of one plane inside of another plane.
Right. There's pieces of the plane are it's just a mess. It's like the roof of it is ripped.
The doors got a hole in it. I think the door got ripped off.
The pilot got sucked out.
They got sucked out.
Then you have the co-pilot who has something like a rod in his leg or something crazy. Yeah. You have all of this damage and destruction to the plane. Everybody's screaming. The things are falling from the ceiling. Like it's a thing.
Yeah, it's a whole.
And then by the way, Athena has a criminal that is on the plane that you're just like, okay, well. In a way, you're just like wondering: is he going to use this as a way to get away?
Yeah, is this something that's set up in order to kill this guy because he knows all the information? So now you're like, do I protect him or do I protect all the people in this plane?
Right,
man. There's so much into this episode. But I love it though. That's why I love 911. It's like, so how you are with all these reality shows is how I am with 911.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Because
because it's like, what are they going to think of next, right?
Yeah, never happens.
Yeah.
But
well, the other thing that had happened during this, it was so many bee things that happened.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
The other thing that happened is this woman had a perfume launch.
Oh, yes.
And so, outdoors. And they showed the night before the launch, bees had just on every tent that was outside.
Yeah.
That, who knew that bees were like sleeping and resting on top of the tent. So then when the event
But what were they, white tents? It was probably like the sun, tents, whatever. I don't know.
I don't know how they didn't see it. But all of a sudden, she sprays her assistant with the perfume. And then
in the middle of her launch.
All of a sudden, imagine that you look up as soon as you spray the perfume and say, because you see all these bees on top of the tent.
And your scent is floral.
Which drives the bees crazy.
Nuts, because they're like pollen.
Trying to basically, take out everybody. I was wondering, are they killer bees? I'm not sure, but
I don't think they're killer bees. I think they were just like yellow jackets.
Yeah. So the girl who got stung by the bees, she had to jump into the pool.
Yes. But then she couldn't breathe.
But then she can't breathe in the pool because every time she would come up to get air, they would sting her in the face. Yep. And so then she was like, oh my God. So then you can't even put your lips outside of there probably because then they'll just start sting.
But how they set all that up to get her out of it is amazing. I don't want to go into that.
We won't go into that. And we won't go into what they did to even help her to breathe. Because every time she would come up for air, she would just keep getting stung in her whole face and everything just looked horrific. So they had some very intuitive things that they were doing. So long story short with Bee-nado. Can I say, I have not even really watched much of 911.
But you were sucked in.
And now I might have to just watch all of season 8.
Well, you gotta.
I don't even know season 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 6, 7, 8.
I know, but you know what? But you know what? That might be something that you might have on one day. And just be like, let me put this on and see what's happening on this episode.
I guess.
Because I have not seen an episode where it's not something crazy that happens.
It is crazy
and
stuff.
That's why I love it. It's just like off the wall things that could be a catastrophe.
Yes. And the Bee-nado, that's all episode 1, by the way. It's 3 episodes of Bee-nado. Just to be clear, like the very beginning of the new season is not like a one and done episode. It is literally 3 episodes because then what they do in the second episode is, so the first episode is about how the bees got released, how they started terrorizing LA, how the plane bumped into the other plane. Yeah. Well, episode 2 starts off with saying, what happened with the other plane, like the big jumbo jet?
Yeah.
How did this happen? Who got on the plane? Who was in first class versus who was in the back of the plane. There was a whole soccer team on this plane.
Yeah.
There was a father with a son who was like 9 years old.
I think autism or something like that.
Who knew everything about it.
They was like, hey, welcome aboard. And he was like, this is a such and such, such and such,
yeah,
blah, 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 engine.
You do the
and he was like, yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, exactly.
Gave him some wings, go to your seat.
And when I say that later on in probably the third episode, they are just like, young man, you can sit right here in the co-pilot seat because you know more than most people. And that between him and I won't even say what else, but between him and somebody else, they were figuring stuff out. They were on the phone with air traffic control, which, I was hearing somebody keep saying ATC, and I was like, what are they talking about? And then I was like, oh, air traffic control. I'm putting it together now. But yeah, so was it all believable? Absolutely not. Was it entertaining to watch, though?
Absolutely.
See,
I'd rather watch this than real TV.
Yeah.
Well, not real TV, but I mean like reality shows.
Right. Yeah. So, and then you come to realize, like, look, Athena, even though she really cannot stand this man who killed her fiance back in the day, you realize that she is just like, you know what, I have to let this go, and he's in my custody, so I have to figure this out for him. And maybe he does the right thing, maybe they make amends, maybe everything is kumbaya, maybe not.
Maybe
you'll have to watch it.
You gotta watch it to see.
But
I love 911.
Yeah.
I love 911, and I love 911 Lone Star. Lone Star, not so as much.
I've never watched that
as the original, but I feel like now that is the original 911 is now on ABC from Fox.
Oh.
Now I think Lone Star is still on Fox, but I feel like ABC, I feel like they're just like, all right, so we're doing good with this. Boom, let's go ahead. Keep it going. ABC's gonna pick it up.
Well, I will say, too, just as a side note, I didn't even go into all the catastrophes that also happened on the plane after the other plane hit that plane.
Oh, yeah,
But you had a ton of things happening there, and then people on the ground trying to help people in the air to figure that out. So
people in the air trying to help people in the air.
Figure that out. And all I can say is I have a plane flight next week, and I pray that none of this craziness happens because, woo boy, this was... I mean, I don't know how somebody did not literally, just have multiple heart attacks on this plane.
Well, I mean, so remember when we went to Vegas?
I do not want to remember.
Okay. We had a lot of turbulence, and I was going back to sleep. But you and Toby were like, oh my God. But I was just like, well, I mean, if it's my time to go, it's my time to go. Ain't nothing I can do about it.
That is a wonderful way to think about it.
It's nothing that I can control.
It is not. However, that does not mean that I was not gripping the seat in front of me for dear life and screaming. So,
but no, I wasn't going to do that. I was just going to be like, well, at least if I take a nap.
I didn't scream a lot. But
but it was a lot of people on the plane that did that.
People making noises.
Yeah. But I was kind of just like, I mean, it's whatever. I mean, it's nothing I can control. What am I going to do about it?
It's not anything you can control, but you.
And that's what I've learned. And you know what? That's
what
I'm learning in my journey of healing.
Namaste.
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, sis. What do you have next?
All right, I got some hot topics that I want to talk about. This being a hot topic about our former president and his rally that he had at Coachella. Let's give you some of this information.
Okay.
Here we go. You can hear this.
Apparently the buses are no longer coming. It's just chaos. Absolute chaos. Something went wrong.
Once again, we are learning that Donald Trump has stranded his attendees at the recent event that he held. This one was the event at Coachella that he held on Saturday evening. The buses that brought people to the event well, they were not organized to bring the people back from the event. So people were stranded throughout the night. You hear attendees on that video. There were people who were saying, this is criminal. This is criminal. What's going on? Now, Donald Trump has a repeated pattern of being unable to
I'm really not going into all that. But the whole thing is that it was like 20-something buses that were taking people 3 to 5 miles from their parking destination to the rally. At the end of the night, there were 2 to 3 buses that were left to take people back. So now you have 10 to 15,000 people.
Was it thousands? That many?
I think that's what they were trying to say it was, but I don't know for sure. But
well, I mean, I was just looking at the video of the people out there, and it didn't look like it was that. I mean, it looked like a lot of people.
But you got to think about it. How many people were standing on what side of the road? How many people were still walking up?
Yeah, some people could have just said, "I'm just going to walk."
Yeah,
be better
and you
for
know
me
what?
to
I
walk
saw a video later on where of a man who just was like walking. He was like, "Well, we got stranded," and then shows behind him, and it's a whole line of people just walking. And there's a video of a person on the bus. It was seeing people walking. It was like, what are we supposed to do? Buses were crowded, like overcrowded. Yeah. Probably not safe at all. No. But I mean, I guess it's no different than being on the city bus standing up. So
yeah.
But yeah, that ended up being one thing that did happen that a lot of people were upset about. It's crazy that it did even happen. They're trying to say different things about who was it? Who was the reason why? Was it Trump that he didn't pay for the people to get back and forth? Or was it the Democrats that stopped there's suspicion that the Democrats did something about the gas and the nearby filling stations. I don't know how they can take the gas away from the filling stations, but that was another thing they said. Another hot topic is Diddy got more stuff going on.
I told you every week it's going to be Diddy.
Diddy. Mm-hmm. Well, let's see.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, I guess so. Here we go. Here's some more information that we have that just came out recently.
This made it the 7th lawsuit. Brand new, literally it's just a couple hours ago in California. We have told you about this accuser before. She says she was raped by P. Diddy in a private home in the Bay Area in 2018. She says that she doesn't believe the police ever investigated her reports. Multiple agencies, not just one, 3. But now, we are hearing so much more detail, and actually a level of detail almost unmatched in a lot of complaints that I've read through. I'm actually going to read a lot of the details in just a moment, and I'm going to do it verbatim, and so I need to give you...
So I don't want to give you the whole verbatim because it is very graphic, but she's basically saying how she was forced to drink something, how she was forced to get naked, how... Oh my God, there was another gentleman who was there who they put baby oil all over her body and was like jumping on her, sliding off of her. And yeah, weird things were happening. They raped her both ways, maybe all 3 ways. They, they definitely sexually assaulted her extremely badly. They said that allegedly Diddy was, while she was being raped by one man, Diddy was in a chair watching and pleasuring himself. While she's like screaming and crying, it got to the point where it was so many hours of this happening that then finally she said that her body just kind of gave up. And she was like, I was there, but I was not mentally there. And all of her bodily fluids just went ahead and ran out on themselves. And they told her to get out of there. And if you say anything, then I'll kill you.
Wow.
So that's another alleged story of the diddler. And that is... pretty much what I have. Oh, I do have one more thing. Elon Musk robots.
Oh, yeah.
Elon Musk robots. So, not T-Pain, 2 Chainz actually is getting an Elon Musk robot. So this is actually him talking.
What's up? Hey, buddy, how you doing, man? I'm doing good. It's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
What's your name?
I'm Optimus.
Okay. My name is Tony.
Tony?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice to meet you, Tony.
Nice to meet you too, buddy. Hey, can you play basketball? Can you shoot like jump shots?
Maybe one day.
I'll teach
Can
you. I'll teach you.
Really?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you, Tony.
Thank you, brother.
Much appreciated.
All right, man. You like Balenciaga? I got an outfit for you.
Really?
Yeah, I got an outfit for you.
Awesome. That's cool.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm about to order you. Okay.
All right.
I'm gonna order you, and then I'll see you in another couple months. Okay. 2 Chainz, how you doing?
So,
All right. First of all, creepy.
why does it look like the iRobots are robots? The iRobots robots.
Yes. It's so weird. Like he's talking and then having the intuitiveness to
be
say,
like, oh,
what
really?
about you?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
You're
that's
asking
awesome.
me if I play basketball. Do you?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh.
So, yeah, hey, you like Balenciaga? I got an outfit for you. Oh, really? That's awesome. It's cool, Tony. Thanks, man. I appreciate that.
What?
Yeah. So now all the movies that we watched about the robots taking over, I feel like it's starting to happen.
Yeah. I was just looking at Sunny.
Yeah, see?
the
Yeah,
robots.
exactly. It's all about the robots. So
That is like so realistic. Like,
yeah.
Because I was looking at the video where it had the cowboy hat on.
Yeah,
or
and it was
something.
being a bartender?
Making drinks as a bartender, and it's like it moves like a person. It
Also-
like, even the subtleness of it is like an actual person is inside it.
there was one of the videos of it being a bartender. The guy walks up and he was just like, "Hey, man, can I get a beer?" And he's like, "Yeah, what kind do you want?" And he tells him. And then another guy says, "Don't you want to check his ID?" And he says, he stops, puts the glass down, and says, "Got to see your ID, buddy." The guy reaches in his wallet, gives him a card.
Not an ID.
Not his ID. He's like, "Oh, you're funny. I need your ID." And it's like, how did he looked at it and knew that it wasn't the ID?
Well, I mean, I'm sure it's beeping, boom.
Yeah.
And then does something.
Yeah, and it's like, that's your debit card.
How much is the robot?
I don't know how much the robots are, but I mean, rappers are getting them, and I don't know.
Then
But
that's
also,
the end of
yeah,
destruction. It's the end of the world because rappers are getting them, and what
Yeah.
are they going to be doing?
yeah, because it's going to be like, "Hey, Optimus, go ahead and write me a rhyme about blah 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 blah." And hey, I guess
I mean, a good
there
thing
goes
is
all
Diddy
the
didn't get one
integrity.
because
I
he
mean-
would be like, "Hold this woman down for me."
that's so true though. He
Why
would.
are you laughing at
Because
that?
I'm sorry, but I'm laughing because of the fact that it's like he probably would.
would
Just be like, "Yo,
have.
grab that woman right there and bring
Right,
her to the
exactly.
hotel room. If you have to, hit this pressure point to make her go to sleep."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely. But while he dropped the robots, he also did drop a van that drives itself. So it is, I can't remember how many seaters, 6 or 8 seater van that looks very futuristic, kind of looks like the Optimus Tesla robots, and how it's long and sleek and has like lights and everything all around it. So
Is it nicer looking than that ugly truck?
Well, I mean, it's round. It's not square. It's not. It's not a
I saw
rhombus.
that truck today.
It's
I
not a
happened
rhombus.
Yeah, I was going to Lowe's and saw
Oh yeah,
the truck
there's one
today,
all
and
around
I
here
was
somewhere.
Like, it had like the 30-day tags on it and stuff,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I was like, but why?
So what makes me think, like, I feel like Elon Musk was 3 years old and drew something and said, "One day I'm going to build this truck," and then he got
exactly what
older
it
and was
looks
like, "I'm building this truck."
I am going to fulfill my childhood dream and build this truck.
Build this truck. I used to draw something when I was little that looked very similar to the Cybertruck.
Oh, really?
Yeah, literally. And but I mean, instead of it having wheels, it had like a chain. It was like a bulldozer type thing at the bottom. But I was like, yeah, this.
Well,
this how it
I
was.
will say that what I learned by seeing the Cybertruck today at Lowe's, because when I saw the guy, I pulled up as somebody was pulling something, getting ready to put something inside I guess the flatbed of the truck.
Yeah, the
which
truck-
I was
the-
like,
the-
oh,
yeah, the bed.
There's a bed of this truck.
Yeah, it's a
I mean,
bed with a retractable.
I had
thing
no
on it.
idea. So
Yeah.
that's what I saw today was them
Yeah.
retracting the mirror or window or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So pulling that up so that way they could slide in the sheetrock or whatever
Mm-hmm.
into the back of the bed to then close the hatch, like close the back.
Yeah, the back. Yeah, the
What do you call
gate.
that? Gate, yeah. And then push the button for the retractable thing. And then I guess they push some button on the door for the door
Yeah,
to
for the door to open. And that
so I
is
was
another
like, oh,
thing that I've noticed. If you have a Tesla truck, your greasy little handprints
Are all
all
over that
over
truck.
it because it's like stainless steel.
Yeah, everything you touch.
So
yeah.
therefore, you gotta think about it, bro. Like as soon as you go close your door, you gotta use your sleeve to wipe it off, or have like a microfiber towel with you, like it's
At
a
all
handkerchief.
times,
You know what I'm
yeah.
saying?
I mean, I wonder, it can even fit into like a car wash or anything. Like
I don't think you can put it in a car wash. It's
No.
electric.
I mean, that's what.
It's electric
wait,
vehicle.
all vehicles that are electric can't
I
go
think-
in a car wash?
I would not put an electric vehicle in a car wash.
I don't know.
I just wouldn't. I mean,
owned
that's
one.
me. I would think that if it's an electric vehicle, just the undercarriage spray or something
what
like
about
that.
hybrid?
Hybrids are different because they only have the motor and the engine, so they still have the gas combustion. Opposed to just being a big battery.
Look, this
Multiple
is my
big
state
batteries.
inspector, qualified sister speaking car talk. I love it. So thank you
Yes,
for
yes.
educating
But
me.
that's the difference. You have you have the batteries that
Yeah.
and then did you say you knew somebody who had to replace a battery? in
Yeah,
their
my
Tesla?
boss had to.
Yeah.
My old boss had to replace her Tesla battery, but she said it was like $100 and some bucks. It wasn't like
Yeah,
super,
because
super
it's
expensive.
less like a regular car battery. I guess it's something that's
Yeah, I was thinking it was going to be like, oh, here's your
Yes,
battery for
yeah, $3,000. Yeah, exactly.
Right, exactly.
But see now I don't know for sure what all is going on. But I myself would be like, okay, I'm not going through a car wash, but I will wash it myself.
Yeah, there you go.
And I'm probably not going to like pressure wash it.
Yeah.
In the cracks. Next thing you know,
So you just have to wash it in your own driveway or have it detailed?
probably have it detailed or something
because you
like
got
that.
money.
I mean,
You have shmoney.
I don't know because the Tesla cars, you drop the price of them, so
Yeah,
anybody
like
can
the
get one now.
prices. Yeah, I mean, when I tell you the parking garage that I go into on
yeah.
a daily basis literally has about 40 Teslas in it.
See, that scares me.
Minimum.
That scares me.
Minimum.
You know why? Because I keep going back to leave the world behind and all those Teslas.
That just took off and had a mind
because
of
they
their
had,
own
yeah, because
of
they,
the electric,
yeah, because of the
AI.
the driver, the non-driver thing,
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, there was just a couple of things that I just had. Did you have any hot
I had
topics?
a hot topic.
Okay. Hot topic.
Liam Payne passed away from One Direction. Liam,
What?
you didn't know?
No.
Yes, Liam.
I know nothing about One Direction.
I don't
but
know
okay.
anything about One Direction. I mean, I know Harry, and I'd heard Liam's name
Zayn,
before. And
yeah.
Zayn. I think those are the only three names I even know.
Yeah, I don't. How many guys? It was 4 or 5.
Five, I think.
I don't know. Kendra, Kaylee, let us know.
Yeah. So, but basically, Liam Payne was in Buenos Aires, Argentina. He has been there for a while. His girlfriend left a few days ago, and he actually fell off of a 3-story balcony to his death.
Oh wow!
They said that he.
That gotta be
prior
hot.
to-
3 stories. I feel like 3 stories would be
Well,
like you
here's
break
the thing.
something.
Here's the thing. So they said that his fans were like outside the hotel, so he went down there. He was like, and they have video of him like meeting people and signing stuff. He doesn't look very happy. He like is hugging people and stuff
Yeah.
like that, but he looks like he may be going through like something. I don't know. People are talking about, was it intentional or was it accidental? They said he was extremely erratic and throwing things around in the
Yeah.
lobby area.
They said that he was overwhelmed with drugs and alcohol, is what the front desk manager had said in the 911 call or something.
Yeah, they said that he was just very erratic in the lobby area. Someone physically had to take him back to his hotel room.
Yep.
That his hotel room was trashed and had alcohol and drugs all over it. And then he, unfortunately, as they said, don't know if it was intentional or not intentional, went over the balcony. Some people are saying from the trajectory, I think how you say that, trajectory, that it seems as though it was like he intentionally did it.
Okay, so he was further away from the building.
Right. Yeah, basically. But yeah, so but they're like, was he even in his right frame of mind? Like if he was high
Yeah,
on drugs
exactly,
and
yeah.
alcohol and was acting erratically in the lobby and he had smashed the TV in the room, laptops thrown and broken all up and just different things. Like they actually have on TikTok video of what his room looked like, of pictures that
Oh man, that's
the
horrible.
people took. Well, just what his room looked like.
Yeah.
Now,
But, I mean,
there
so-
are also videos of him
Oh god.
afterwards. So
God, yeah.
people are spreading that around too, which of course I can't.
Yeah, you don't wanna look
I
at
don't
that,
even
yeah.
want to look at anything like that. But there are people who are spreading that around as well. Perez Hilton
Mm-hmm.
was talking about it. So I mean, if you want to know like step by step of this is when it happened, this is the timeline, this is what's going on, I think Perez Hilton said on his
Perez Hilton is on it. He's always been on it
yeah.
though. He always been on it.
Yeah. So, and literally he was like, within the past hour, this is what just happened. Like
Yeah.
he was from that perspective to the autopsy results have come through of this, and this, because it's literally just, happened
Yeah.
this week. And yet every single thing that, the Buenos Aires Police Department said this, that kind of thing. So
he probably called him and talked to him because he speaks Spanish.
Maybe so. Yeah, because he was like, Buenos Aires, Argentina.
Yeah, because
he is
of Latin
So he was,
descent,
working it out. And so, so I did want to just acknowledge that. And of course, all of his bandmates were, expressing complete shock and grief, about this, because who would have, thought. Yeah, exactly. And so, I did want to share that. But there's a lot of videos, his last Snapchat, his last TikTok, his last whatever. He was singing some One Direction songs. He, of course, was out meeting and greeting with the people ahead of time. And so everybody's got videos of this. Was a few hours before this incident happened. So what dramatically changed between now and then? But they did say as he was meeting and greeting everybody, it wasn't any smiles. It wasn't real jovial. It was just like going through the motions kind of situation.
But you know what? He maybe went to meet and greets, try to make himself feel better, and it just wasn't working.
Didn't work. Yeah, maybe so.
All right. Anything else? Any other hot topics?
I'll go ahead and talk about this other thing that I don't think that I talked about on the podcast, but we'll find out if I start down a path.
I'll be like,
let me know.
We
you've already covered this, but it's a Hulu special. It might have been even an ABC special, but it's called AI and the Future of Us.
No, we have not talked about it.
We haven't talked about that. Okay. I knew I had talked about it, but I couldn't remember if it was on the podcast. Yeah. But wanted to just share some information in regards to that because it was extremely, extremely eye-opening. So, number one, it talked about how, like, for example, like the CIA chief, for example, he was saying that, hey, you know what? My people called me into a room and said, hey, we want to show you something. So he starts watching it. And lo and behold, it's a video of him. It's like deep fake. So it's a video of him. It's his voice. It's his face. It's everything that looks like you. But it's AI. Not you. It's AI. And it was saying all these horrible, terrible things. And he's like, I've never said that. I've never said that. And they were like, yeah, we know. This is
we've recorded your voice long enough that we can do this.
And so he was just like, wow, that's when I knew something, we really got to get this under control, right? And, then they talked about, the upcoming election and how are people using AI to kind of sway people's opinion in regards to their vote. Then they talked to, so it was Oprah Winfrey who was hosting this. Let me start there. So she's hosting this special, right? And then she goes on to talk to the guy who created ChatGPT. And so I personally am a fan of ChatGPT. I am even paying $20 a month to have even a higher, like most people get the free OpenAI ChatGPT. So I pay so I could get the 4.0 version and I can do logos. I can pretty much write a book with this ChatGPT. I mean, it's like everything that you want to do, you can pretty much do with this 4.0 ChatGPT. And so she's talking to the creator or co-founder of it, and it sounds kind of contentious, and I'm trying to figure out why. Like, why is Oprah treating this guy this way? But I guess he has not always had the best interests of everybody at heart in regards to what it is that he's been doing. And there's been some negative publicity and things like that that she addressed. But at the same time, it's like, it's still an amazing thing that people can actually use. Like, I have taken, let's say you take a full paragraph, right? And I just did this at work the other day. And you can take like a full paragraph, or you could take a few sentences and say, ChatGPT, change this around to a sentence in 9 words or less. And it will say blink, blink, bloop. And then, that might be the name of this episode. Bing, bing, boom. But yeah, it will end up changing it and doing like so succinct. So easy to understand and read. It's not missing a beat. And you're like, oh my gosh, why couldn't I have thought to say it in such a succinct way? I made a whole paragraph and just to explain 3 sentences where it put it all into one. And so,
but I think another person could do that for you. Read that and be like, why don't you just say blah, 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 blah.
Well, this is the funny thing. It would be like a copywriter or an editor or something like that, which is why she had Bill Gates on this show. And guess what Bill Gates was like? So many jobs aren't even going to be necessary because of AI.
Yes.
Literally.
Yeah. We're all going to be influencers.
When you think of the fact that with AI, you really don't need to have people who are data analysts.
Yeah, no.
Because you could literally put information into the system.
Yeah, and it does it for you.
It's going to put it out. And he said the amount of time that it could take a data analyst to do it, which could be hours or even days or even weeks, depending on how much data, the AI could spit out in a matter of minutes or seconds.
Yeah.
And that is going to take away jobs in the future.
Yep.
He said he wouldn't be surprised if teachers are no longer needing to be needed because of the fact that, and he's not saying this is a good thing. He's just saying the reality of what we are facing, right?
They can fact check themselves.
Well, he said, look, think about it. I mean, he didn't say it this way, but this was what I was getting from the undertone of it all was that, look, kids could stay at home. They don't have to worry about getting shot up at schools.
Yeah, sure.
So then they're at home. You have a robot, AI, that sends the homework and teaches the kids through the visualization of what you did with Zoom when you were out with COVID. So you learn through Zoom, you get your homework through your computer and your email. You send your homework back through email, and guess what? The bot now checks it.
Yeah.
Confirms what is or is not accurate or correct, passes you, fails you, whatever the case
It's like
may
as soon
be.
as you hit submit, you can get a return that says you passed or you failed.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. And so he was like, now you still feel like you need that human touch and interaction and all of those
That's what your
types of
parents are
things.
for.
But well, I mean,
That's what he's
I don't
trying to
know.
say, yeah.
I know. I just think that it's so true. Like, even if you think of for human resources perspective, like, do you need a person who's going to read resumes and send something to a hiring leader for them to then decide who they want to interview, and then you send the offer? Or is there a bot, or is there an auto-generated letter that tells you got the offer, congratulations, here you go? Like, it's so many different things. They're already using a lot of robotic arms for, of course, machinery work.
For different things.
They're using it for picking fruit off of trees and knowing that this is ripe and this is not ripe.
Yep.
They're using it for so
Building
many different
cars.
things. Yep, that's what I meant with the machinery. Yeah, building cars and doing all of that kind of stuff. So much automation.
Yes.
Think of how you used to go into Walmart or Food Lion or anywhere else, and you would always have a person standing there.
No, it can
Now
be a
you
bot.
have kiosks
Yeah.
where you do the work yourself.
You know what? Yeah, they probably have like these like folded in things that you can't go out with. Like the little turnstiles. You can't leave out with, you know how it just folds in and folds
you know
out.
that they're
You have
doing-
to scan your receipt. And then some bot looks over it and it's like, okay, you're free to leave.
Funny that you say that, because I was just in Sam's Club the other day.
What?
And you know how in Sam's Club they always check your receipt at the door before they let you go.
Yeah.
Well, now they've built this huge video monstrosity kind of thing. And so as I walked up getting ready to show my receipt, he was like, no, you're good. Like, he looked at this little thing and it said I was good. And then I took a picture because they had this little like QR code that said, do you want to know how this thing works?
Yeah.
Take a picture of this. So take the picture, but scan it. So I scanned it, went to the website, and it says, we use this technology, basically AI, to check your cart along with what we know you paid for it over there at the thing to see if the receipt said 8 items, we're checking your cart to see if you have 8 items. And if you do, you can go past them. If you have 9, he's going to stop you.
But what if you have them inside, like a lot of people have those cooler bags and stuff like that. I guess you have to open the cooler bag.
I don't know if people do that at Sam's.
Yeah, well,
everything at Sam's is so huge that I don't know
true.
if that's the case. But I don't know if it does it through heat or cool or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, it's something. But I noticed when I was walking through it, I said, there are about 14 cameras around these things.
Yeah,
like,
they're getting every image.
Every angle that they possibly can. The bottom of your cart, the side of your cart, the top of your, like from the sky, bird's eye view down, all of that stuff. The other thing that Bill Gates stated was that possibly in the future, there will be no need for a 5-day work week. That there would only be a need for a 3-day work week.
But then that also means that the pay is going to go down.
Right. Well, possibility. It is. Do we just go ahead and let AI do everything and still pay people and compensate them the same, but then their work week is shorter and they can go off and do other things, maybe get another job, whatever, or like compensate them the same, or have people do 2 jobs? Because
America's never going to do that.
I do one job Monday through Wednesday, and then I do another job Thursday and Friday, or something to that effect to kind of make it all work.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what that would look like. Or is it that you just get paid part-time, and guess what? Now I don't owe you benefits.
Yeah,
I'm not paying that bot any benefits.
Nope.
And I'm not worried about them calling out sick or having a sick child or going to the hospital or anything like that. So the world is changing, everybody. And that was really what it's on Hulu. Like I said, it's AI and the future of us. And it's really about opening everybody's eyes so that people can put together that, you know what? We might need to make some different choices and changes and figure out, are our jobs secure if a bot can do it?
No, none of our jobs are secure.
There may be a few that are secure if,
like what?
A bot can't do it. I don't know. An attorney. Shout out Mikey P. I don't know.
Yeah, shout out Mikey P. They could definitely do that.
You think so?
In article such and such, paragraph such and such, clause this.
But you have to get. But like, so what do you have the bots as your jury of your peers to be able to?
The jury gets paid $11 a day.
No, I just feel like you need to have somebody with some ability to have some empathy, to have inflection in their voice. No, because
that's not what the courts want. They just want guilty without. Was it without? What? Come on, help me, Mikey. I know you're helping me. Guilty. Guilty.
Yeah, but you guilty or not guilty. It should be either one. It shouldn't necessarily only be guilty.
It's like I keep saying by association, but it's not. But it's like without any other whatchamacallit, beyond all
reasonable doubt.
Yes, that is what I was trying to say. Mike, I needed
guilty
you on the phone.
Beyond a reasonable doubt.
Yes,
but or innocent beyond a reasonable.
Exactly,
doubt.
But that's the whole thing. If you have bots, then there's nothing that's going to sway the jury.
But that's what I'm saying. That's why you can't do that. Like, who would choose to have a bot to represent them when you can have a person who has emotion and feeling and can express that to the jury, which I'm hoping we don't have bots to make the decisions. But I don't know. What'll probably end up happening is it's going to end up being like that Tom Cruise movie where the AI already knew in advance that you were going to create the murder.
Oh, yeah. What was that? Priority report? Minority report.
Yeah, where it's like, oh, you were getting ready to create, to commit a crime.
Yeah, you were about to kill this person, so now we're coming for you. It's like, what? I don't even know who this person is.
Yeah, how do you know I was going to
I haven't even seen this person before in my life. Yeah.
So anyway, that is, again, AI in the Future of Us on Hulu. Check it out. It's just one episode, and it is very telling. It's more stuff that I didn't even get into, the legislative part of it all, and them trying to make sure Congress puts a kibosh on certain things and what people can and cannot do and not letting it become corrupt. So there's that. Well, so anyway, but this is a perfect time to get into AI so that way you
buy your Elon Musk Tesla bot now, and then that way you can make money off that bot.
I'm thinking anything you can do that involves AI where it can make you some money, go ahead and do it now.
Yeah, that's true.
So, anywho. On that note, everybody, have an amazing week.
Yes.
Take care of yourself and each other.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye.